Well, welcome back to the lovely SheSpark listeners and readers. I have this a beautiful, something I say this every time. I have this beautiful, amazing woman. I claim my guests, and all my guests are beautiful and amazing. Excuse me. This beautiful, amazing woman with me today. Excuse me, everybody. And we're going to talk around the topic of anger and how our society is evolving around all this anger, and it's such pain and hurtfulness. I see so many people personally in anger, and it really kind of saddens me personally to see all this anger, and how
Hmm.
Amelia is dancing around all this anger, and how she works with people, and how she helps others, and her beautiful book of The Death of the Angry Black Woman. So, Jamelia, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for stepping in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Hey, listeners. Hello, everybody. I hope all is well.
And everybody gets to hear that beautiful voice of yours, which doesn't even begin to match your beautiful face. Your face, you're just such a beautiful woman. But
Thank you.
you're welcome. Let's
Thank
jump on
you.
in. Let's talk about that amazing title of your book. You did very well, by the
Hmm.
way.
Thank you.
Yes, because a book is on a shelf, and our covers
Right.
of our books and our titles, they need to jump. It's all about marketing, and I love
Absolutely.
I love the title. So how did you evolve to this title, and what is your book about?
Okay. Well, I evolved to this book with a bang. It's a small book with a powerful punch. And the reason why I had to address this specific stigma, if you'd allow me to say, is because unfortunately, that's the scrutiny that society has put out for women of color. And I happen to be an African American woman, a black woman. And so that is my truth. My truth is, unfortunately, the stereotype of the of the angry black woman. So since that's the stereotype, and since I am a black woman and I did have the anger issues, don't clump every black woman as to be angry, or in the woven thread of the book, anger in general should not be categorized to one genre of an individual. And so, since I was a black woman and since that stereotypical word was out there and I was labeled, what I decided to do was take the book, put it in a paperback form, and speak the truth of women all around the world, because I deal with women from all walks of life, all colors, creeds, and backgrounds. We had a woven thread. The woven thread was anger. The unfortunate part of this anger is that the stereotype was labeled. So what I did is I took stories that I was familiar with within my own personal truth, and I put it in a book. And so the cover is what most women deal with, whether you could be black, white, or indifferent. It's the silhouette of a woman just wants to have a nervous breakdown and scream because she is dealing with that secret woven thread that we all can relate to, and it's anger. And so this is where we are right now. We're dealing with the issues of anger. I don't care what color you are. Men, read the book. You'd be surprised how much information is in this book. And you think she's mad because you fixed the sandwich. No, it's not the sandwich. It would happen before you put the sandwich on the plate. You just happen to be in a crossfire. So this is what we are. We're dealing with anger no matter where you are. It's an issue that is so relatable, and it is seen to rear itself rampant in the earth. And this is why we're here. This is why we're here.
I feel for men, women, all walks of life, and I work specifically with women in my business, but I feel for
Right.
our society is so damn
Hmm.
angry, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you and I live in such a phenomenal country. It's
Hmm.
we're not third world, we're first world. We have so much at our fingertips here in America.
Yes,
Maybe
we do.
sometimes I don't mean to sound trite or anything, but maybe sometimes that's not good. Maybe that could be part of the problem. But
Hmm.
what is, we are so angry. What is going on? What are we so angry about is what I don't
I
understand.
think, uh, but you know what it is, Kim? I think, like I said, it's what happens before the husband put the plate on the sandwich, and that's just something that I'm going to say. It's like I'm fighting for a parking spot, and so I'm going to jump out the car and beat someone to oblivion because you are in my parking space. No, it's a sense of entitlement for some
Yes.
people, that they feel that they should have that. It's a deep seated subconsciousness that things happen in our childhood, and now we people call adults, but we're big little people that we're still spoiled. We still want to have our way, but we're not 3, we're not 15. These are things that happen to us in our childhood. And so there's a sense of ownership, entitlement, secret issues that we're dealing with that now everybody's caught in the crossfire. And it's unfair because the person that you have an issue with and you taking it out, 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you, they did not deserve that. But what are you going to do with it? How do you handle it? That if somebody you get in a relationship happens not to know that you were assaulted, not know that you were molested, not know that you were growing up in a very abusive environment or you have a competitive workforce, what happens when they face you and they kind of, do things in innocent, but it causes your trigger and you become violent. It causes your trigger. Then you want to curse them out. It causes the trigger. Unfortunately, a lot of people are caught in the crossfire. You say misplaced anger, yeah, but people are innocently caught in the crossfire from your past, things that you're dealing with at home. There's a boss somewhere, I can guarantee you, in the workplace that's taken out her abusive personality because she just had an argument with her husband at home. I can guarantee you there's a child somewhere in school right now being bullied simply because that child had an issue at home and decides they're going to take it out, unfortunately, on an innocent person called a classmate. And it is wrong. It's
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
period.
yeah, it is.
Mhm.
It is, I call that a lot of that, it's the double P. It's the projecting
Yeah.
and puking on others. And
Mhm.
I love your example, analogy, or whatever you would like to call it. We're little kids, but yet we're
Yeah, we're little big
adults.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're
Hmm.
entitled and we're acting like little spoiled little brats. And I think that's a lot of the
Hmm.
problem is we my generation, and I'm in my upper 50s, my generation and the
Hmm.
generation coming up after me are raising a
Hmm.
lot of these kids with
Hmm.
entitlement. And that's our today. That is our future. And so
Hmm.
we're raising
Yeah.
entitlement along with all
Yeah.
that anger. And I'm gonna throw a joke in here. I say this every year. My husband and I, we don't have children. So the
Hmm.
holidays are holidays, and we don't do a lot around the Christmas holidays, but we still live and have to do errands and things
Hmm.
like that. And
Hmm.
Jimmy, every year I say this: I'll run over to the mall. I try to
Hmm.
avoid it, but if I'm out of mascara, I've got to run over there, right? And it's a holiday season. I always look at my husband. I'm like, tis the season to be jolly. Let me screw you over for a parking space. What the heck is
Right. Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on? You know,
Yeah. That's
and
right.
that
That's right.
and it's bleeding from out of the holidays. It's bleeding more into the everyday life, and
Hmm.
I shake my head and I scratch my head
Hmm.
and go, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah. Tis the season to be jolly. Everything is on a high alert because we've got to meet the demands of our spoiled children. And you're talking about generational X and generation Y, and it seems as if I'm 47 years old, and it seems like the generation now, unfortunately, what they're experiencing is that they don't know anything about losing a game because everybody's a winner. They don't know anything about, having a competitive sport because you don't have to have a competitive sport because you can control it because you can download the app. This generation is unfortunately spoiled, but what happened is the baby boomers grew up in a society where they saw a lot of abuse. And so what they did is they said, we're not going to be anything like our mom and our dad. What we're going to do is we're going to give our kids everything. We're going to become overly protective and overly sensitive. And so now everything is in a disarray. And now even the children, they go to school. Remember when you would go to school and you were cut up, you came home, you would get in trouble. This generation, they don't do that. It's the teacher's fault the children are acting out. Are you kidding? But if you go home, remember back in the day, you used to have a home visit from the teacher. Remember the principal used to stop by. Everybody's afraid to do that because everybody is scared. If you ring the doorbell, you're going to get punched in the face. If you ring the doorbell, you're going to get cursed out. That's not my child. And everybody is dealing with these subliminal issues that they don't want to dance around. They don't want to deal with it. And it's simply a sense of entitlement. My kid's better than yours. We live in a competitive society. We're living in that people don't want to go get help because they were sexually assaulted, they were abused, but they want to pacify everything. And the thing about the book, it's a hard truth. And I say this to my children. I have a daughter who's in Clark, Atlanta, rocking in college. I have a son named Hunter. I have stepchildren. We're a blended family. And I give them the hard truth. And I say this. The reason why I've got to give you the hard truth is because someone's going to come along and tell you a soft lie. And everybody will believe that. Everybody wants to feel good. And the minute you make me feel uncomfortable, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You got a problem. This
Yeah.
is the world we live in.
Yeah, it's really sad. So talk to me about some of the work, with clients and all the things that you are doing. How can one person listening to this interview begin? They identify. They hear you talking, and they identify. Oh man, I'm that woman. I am that woman. Where my husband walks in the door and he says hi to me, and I'm ready to scream tear his face off, and he hasn't even done anything that day.
Right.
How
right,
can
right.
a person listening, or how do you work with your clients to take them down that journey to start eliminating, lowering the anger and turning around
Right.
to the joy?
Right. Accountability is very key. I had an anger, seriously, I had a serious temper. I would go from 0 to 100 real quick. And I had to identify what was causing me to go from 0 to 100 real quick. I lived in this area. They say it's one of the most beautiful places in Jersey you could live. It's called Hillsborough, New Jersey. Yes, I'm a woman of faith, but what I did is I moved to a place where there was no way to come to my house. Across the street was a meadow full of cows. You could not say that you're in the neighborhood. I wasn't buying it. I had to be home. And I went out there and I did some self-analysis, and I evaluated myself through my faith. And I said, tell me why I'm so angry. And I had to sit back and I had to reflect of everything that caused me pain. And once I realized and I identified what was causing me pain, I pulled it apart and I dealt with everything associated or anything that looked like the pain. And I began to say, they didn't do it. She didn't do it. My coworker didn't. And I took accountability for it. I can't respond this way because my husband that's walking in the door didn't do it. However, in a relationship, I had to help them understand how come I reacted the way that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So don't treat me a certain type of way because, unfortunately, because I'm a victim of domestic violence, I have certain triggers that you don't understand. So I'm going to say this with all due respect. You can't call me a witch with a capital B and expect for me to respond in a way that growing up, somebody that didn't have a father that was screaming or narcissistic or punching them in the face or was controlling, I'm not going to respond in a way where a woman that grew up in a household and everything was peachy keen. I'm going to punch you in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to identify it. And I had to tell a person, look, you can't speak to me that way. You can't handle me this way. I like a soft tone, not a pushover. I like sternness, not meanness. I like a certain demeanor. So if you come in a relationship with me and I've identified what makes me work, then I'm going to connect myself with someone that can help me be better. I'm not going to take it out on my husband when he comes home and he says, babe, what are we having for dinner? I'm going to take a deep breath and say, chicken or beef. But I'm not going to say, bring in something anyway. If you're hungry there, I'm not going to do that because I realize that you ask me a question. I realize that I've got to commute or converse with people on a day-to-day basis, and I cannot take it out on innocent people that simply just want to ask me a question or get an understanding as to how we're going to exist. But first, I've got to identify what the triggers are and help you understand me. And hopefully, you'll love me enough to say, okay, let's have peace in this situation. Let's agree to disagree. I'm going to take the high road.
I like that. I'm going to say this, and I'm coming from a place of compassion and not judgment.
Sure.
I really wish a lot more people would say, I'm sick and tired of living in this turmoil and this chaos.
That's right.
I just I want some peace. I just want some calmness. Whether out of 24 hours that we have to a day, and of course on the average 7 to 8 we're sleeping, and the remaining of that, even if it's an hour of a glimpse of that
Mhm.
peacefulness
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the chaos when we get out in
Mhm.
our cars and stuff. It's an
Mhm.
hour. It's a place to start. But I love that
Right.
you're saying start with the accountability. And that's
Mhm.
another big thing with all this entitlement and this anger. We're blaming we're blaming, look,
Yeah.
we're blaming our cars for the way we're
Right. Yeah.
driving.
Nobody. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to take responsibility
Yeah.
in a society where everybody's so irresponsible. You see, it's a weird
Yeah.
dichotomy. You don't want to be responsible. Really? No, I like peace. So let me agree with my adversaries quickly. You want to fight over the parking space? Go ahead and have it. God bless you. Have a good day. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to fight you over something. No, I'm not. It's something. This is what I say. This morning I was talking to my husband, and he was a little antsy, and I said, "Sit down. Right now, I need to understand what's going on." And when he began to tell me what's going on, guess what happened, Kim? My light bulb came on. And I
Mhm.
got an understanding as to him being uncomfortable. And I was able to converse with him on the level with understanding and compassion. The reason why people are going off and shooting off at the mouth and having fits is because they don't have the time to sit down, find compassion, and get an understanding. Everything today is fast, 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 fast,
Yeah.
fast, 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 fast. I'm blaming you, and you don't be accountable. And this is the society we live in. Oh, we live in a society where we like drama. Everything on VH1, everything on TV is drama, is a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch National Geographic anymore. It's just that's boring. Kids don't want to sit down. Or remember going on nature walk or finding a level of serenity. I make my kids go to the nature walks, apple picking, anywhere you're going to have a minute where you could go.
Yep.
They
Yes.
don't do it today.
No.
Everything is fast, 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 fast. We blame it is everybody else's fault because we are uncomfortable, we are angry. Stop blaming everybody for what's wrong in your life and take accountability and fix what's right.
Yeah. I agree with you. We were just I was just in a conversation a couple of days ago. It could have been with my husband as well. First of all,
Mhm.
we have all this beautiful stuff like
Mhm.
iPhones or smartphones or whatever type of cell
Mhm.
phones and computers, and
Mhm.
we have all
Yeah.
this stuff to make our life easier. But what has happened is we've
Mhm.
bastardized everything, and we
Mhm.
we convolute our lives with all of this when this is
Mhm.
supposed to make things more simpler.
Mhm.
Sync this,
Mhm.
this, that, or reach it. But you're right. We have become such a instantaneous, fast-paced society, which it's breeding anxiousness, depression, and then boy,
Mhm.
then the blow up of the
Yeah.
anger and all that
Yeah.
begins.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
even with that being said, listen, Kim, listen to this. Let's go back to Christmas just for a moment, Kim.
mhm,
Here we are, getting ready to approach the holidays. There is a parent right now, angry, stressed out, and have anxiety attacks because a child wants the latest phone. A child wants the latest gaming computer. So the parents are running to the mall, pissed off because they've got to take money that they don't have to put a smile on a child's face that may not appreciate it. And so now here we go to the parking spot. They're
yep,
already pissed off before they get to the mall. And
yep,
now you want to cut me off and take my parking spot? That's the only thing I can control. And they become explosive. You see how the triggers are?
yep,
And so now you walking in the mall and you're mad thinking about the money you're going to spend to make a child happy. And you're dealing with your own financial struggle. Now here it gets deeper. To put a smile on a child's face that don't even appreciate that. You go home and if it's the wrong color, you're the worst parent in the world. Or if
absolutely,
it's not the right one, you're the worst parent in the world because that child doesn't even want to have the time to understand that mommy worked hard or have compassion to give you close to what you want if it's not exactly what you want. And
mhm,
so now the child blames the parent. You're the worst person and the worst parent in the world and make that mother or that father feel bad. See how anger is?
yep,
It's so vile until people don't even understand the rhythm of it. And the
Yeah,
rhythm is
yes,
anger.
it is. It is. It's just, and on top of all of that, then we lose the curiosity. Going back to the
Sure
conversation
do.
this morning with your husband of going, hold on,
Mm-hmm.
just saying, hold on to yourself and time out and going into a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
curiosity and go, hey, what is up? What's going on here? I
Yeah,
need
what's
to
going on?
understand. Yeah, and it's like that Fred
Mm-hmm.
Astaire, Ginger Roger dance. I like to know
Mm-hmm.
what next steps I'm going to do. And I might step on my husband's toes, metaphorically speaking, in
Right.
the dance, but
Right.
at
Sure.
least we
Mm-hmm.
know and we're in curiosity what's going on and where we're going. And that's the other thing. A lot of people, they don't even stop to ask. They just start
Mm-hmm.
accusing.
Reacting
Oh,
and
and
accusing.
let me
Yeah.
tell you, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is, the
Mm-hmm.
fingers being pointed at me and being accusing. Hold on. How about asking
Mm-hmm.
me first? Asking me first.
Asking me. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
that's
But
one
that's what
of
I
the
always
things.
say.
That's one of the
Get,
things
yeah.
I
Get an
think
understanding.
has called has caused a lot of aside from the anger and the lack of joy and unhappiness that we're all sitting with, is that lack of that curiosity and the accusations and the
Mm-hmm.
blaming. I think that's one of the things that has caused so many divorces, extramarital affairs,
Yeah.
all that stuff
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
breeding all of that as well.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
right, as opposed to you know teaching our children, look,
Mm-hmm.
dad, work hard. That's fine if you want
Mm-hmm.
this for Christmas, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
understand, we didn't go out in the backyard and
Mm-hmm.
pick it off the tree. We got in our car and we
Yeah. Yeah.
working our
Yeah.
butts off. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
our
Yeah. Yeah.
society is it's too much of a give because of
Yeah.
the fear and all
Yeah.
the anger and
Yeah.
everything. It's sad. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
sad.
Anger is, I mean, anger is, my son is 17 and, he plays this game called Fortnite and he's driving me crazy. But I don't understand certain things. And he's the tech junkie and I'm not. And even my daughters, she does, these kids are tech junkies. And so instead of getting angry at him, I say, help me understand. Because I can't attack what I don't understand. And with anger, what it does is you will attack things that you don't understand because you don't have the knowledge to follow through with a very, more effective delivery. And so people always attack what they don't understand. And this is why the book is so powerful, is because you've got to get an understanding as to why you're angry. You've got to get an understanding that something happened, unfortunately, that you could not control, that you either saw as a child, that allow you to manifest itself in you being an adult, still dealing with this issue. Okay, let's be accountable. Let's find what it is and let's work it out together. And so that's what the old person has got to have a benediction time. That means not physically die, but die of ways that cause people to not want to like you, live with you, be your friend, get to know you, or even get a chance to understand you. And that's what the book is. It's taking the scar and opening it, gutting it out, and let's heal it the right way without all the goop inside.
So many people are afraid to do that. And that's part of the Brene
Yeah.
Brown work, which I'm a fan of Brene Brown's, that
Hmm.
vulnerability,
Sure.
and really
Hmm.
showing our true selves through
Hmm.
the scars and
Hmm.
the eckiness and the beautifulness and all
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
that. We're in a
Nobody wants to,
society.
but you know what? Sorry to cut you off, Kim. But
That's okay.
you said something about vulnerability. In order to be vulnerable, in order to be real vulnerable, you must heal of your scars.
Yes.
See, the mass of what people see, we live in a society where everything is uh, good looking on social media. But when the cameras are dropping, reality show isn't really reality. If I ever get a reality show, it's going to be real reality. I'm going to show you the raw, uncut truth. No makeup, no lashes, and no bundles in my hair. I'm going to show you the real truth. And a lot of people don't want reality because the lie feels good. And so, in order for you to really heal, you've got to give a hard look at your reality. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to have to admit some stuff. You're going to have to be real with yourself and say, I did this. You're going to have to give some apologies and take some apologies. And
Yes.
nobody wants to do that. So to be vulnerable, you must experience a level of pain and criticism and don't even care. I'm free to be me, finally.
Yep. There's too much white picket fence syndrome going on out there with the social media and
Oh,
how
yeah.
everybody looks so
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
And
Sure.
or with that white picket fence,
Mm-hmm.
we also got the other thing going on out there on social media. You know, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff of people are using Facebook, for an example, for is their personal journal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to
Yeah.
find a nice little medium dance there with that
Right. Right.
social
Right.
media. But I
Right.
agree, we need to just show up, bring in,
Right.
just lay the baggage down, lay it down.
Yeah.
Why continue
Yeah.
to keep carrying it and throwing it around and things like that? All right, so
Right.
what I hear from you is number one is taking the accountability, and I'm going to add another
Absolutely.
A word in there as well, and just admitting that you're sick and tired of the sick and
Admitting it.
tiredness, is, so to
It's
speak.
okay. And it's
Yeah,
okay to say that.
it's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I think people are worried. But you know what it is, Tim? People are afraid of what people think. They're afraid to admit their truth. It's okay to say, right now, I don't like myself. Right now, I really feel like I'm having a nervous breakdown. I need a break. It's okay. I never will forget where Dylan and Hunter, they were babies and they were acting up. They were cutting up. They were just being, I mean, they were, not as babies, but they were really just being wrecked. And at the time, I was married. I'm living in South Orange, New Jersey, and I said to their dad, I'm on strike. And I took a Sharpie and a piece of paper and I said, Mom is on strike. And I stuck it on the door and I locked it. And I
Yeah.
found my peace, regrouped, and came back. Do you know how many women are about to have a nervous breakdown because they're overwhelmed, because they're afraid to say, I need a break? Because
Yeah.
they think saying I need a break is a level of weak, not vulnerability. They
Yep.
think it's weak because they feel like they got something to prove. They don't want to disappoint their family. They don't want to disappoint their spouses. Girl, if you don't go somewhere and sit down and have a glass of wine and eat a sandwich in the park and tell somebody to come get these kids, I need a break, it's okay.
Yes.
You don't get brownie points trying to be strong all the time.
Yes.
So
I
you
agree
got
with
to
you.
admit some stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I've told a lot of women around the self-care, look, go take a long hot shower, lock your bathroom door, and put a
Mm-hmm.
sign outside. Mommy's in shower. She's out
Mm-hmm.
of commission
That's
right now.
right.
I mean,
That's
there were so
right.
many
Yeah.
women that came and take a peaceful shower. It's like, who's running the
Yeah.
life here? I mean, are you living for the
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
or what's going on? And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I understand. I don't have children, but I understand there is
Right.
some responsibility there. But that doesn't mean the children
Mm-hmm.
have to run and rule and own you as well. Which
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing, women carry into their lives is that estrogen
Mm-hmm.
guilt. Oh, I can't
Yeah.
do that. I can't go to this meeting tonight. I really want to be there because my kids. It's like, well, okay, who's running the
Mm-hmm.
life here? If this is something you
Mm-hmm.
truly
Yeah.
want to do, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah.
the kids are safe and sound, and things
But
like
this
that.
is what happens, Kim, when you don't do it. There
Yes.
is a level of anger that
Yes.
you evolve into. And if you're not careful with anger being the force behind it, you will take it out on the children
Yes.
and you will blame them for not having the type of success that you need because
Yes.
you did not create a level of balance. I do my best with everything that I'm doing to create balance. There are times where I will shut down. I will shut down, meaning I will say, look, I'm going to a hotel and I'm asleep. Don't call me unless it's 911. You get your code word. Your code word is fire. That means it's an emergency. Don't take advantage of it. I'm going to recuperate. And sometimes you've got to do that. I think the
Yes.
problem with a lot of women is they're afraid that if they take their hands off of it, it won't work. And if you keep on doing that, anger will take you over and you will become explosive
Mm-hmm.
right in your
Yes.
house.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And a lot of other health issues to follow behind all of that as well.
absolutely.
I
Unfortunately,
did
you're
that in
right,
the
Kim.
past with my businesses because again, I don't have children, and my business became my child,
Right,
and it just
right.
I would live the same thing. Couldn't take my hand off of it, and
Hmm.
I won't live like that
Hmm.
anymore. And
Yeah,
it took me
yeah,
down. It really, I admit it. It
yeah,
took health. It took me down no more, not going there. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
one of the things, we have society putting pressure on us as women. We're to do it all.
right,
We can multitask,
right,
not men can't. We are to do it
right,
all. It's like, well, that's crazy.
right. I don't know. I'm not trying, and I thank God for the liberation that God has given me to be free and to write the book and to do what I've done because I deal with millions of women all over the world. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a very transparent person, and I can be because I'm free. And the reason why I'm transparent is because I'm gonna tell you the truth, Kim. If I don't feel like cleaning up today, guess what? I'm not doing it. And the reason why is because you've got to create a balance that if
Yes.
this lasts for a moment, it's not going to last for a lifetime. I
Yes.
just got to go somewhere and take this energy and put it somewhere else, and then I'll come back to that later. If I don't want to cook tonight, guess who's not cooking, Kim?
Yep.
You're absolutely right. I'm not. I am not going to do it all and make myself so angry and miserable because I'm trying to prove something
Yep.
to a bunch of people, whether it be friends, family, or loved ones. And I'm going to say, because I'm from Brooklyn and I'm black, I ain't doing it, Kim.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it. And
Yep.
so with these women that are running around here trying to be Wonder Woman and Superwoman, you eventually will create a ball of anger and fury, and it will not put you in a healthy headspace.
Yep.
Stop it.
Yep. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. And I really did. Many years ago, I lived like that. And the anxiety took me down. The depression took me down. I never had an eating disorder, but I had an exercising disorder. And it just,
Right.
it comes out somewhere, a failed marriage. It
Right.
comes
It's
out.
those triggers.
It,
Yeah.
it comes out. It really does. And now, no, I live on my terms. It's the way it
Yeah.
is. It's the way it is. And
Yeah.
I love saying the word no, which a lot of women have a very difficult time. And I'm picking on
Right.
our gender because I work specifically with women. Women have a hard time
Right.
saying no. And it's like,
Yeah.
why say yes? And then the balls start
Right.
dropping. That is personal branding. Then you don't show up and you're dropping commitments. You don't look good. You just don't look good. And
Right.
that does lead to,
Right.
like you're saying, to the anger and all the other
Yeah.
horrific health issues. I want to wrap up this
Yeah.
interview. What I am taking away, and I hope our listeners do too, is first of all, number one, maybe just start identifying and become
Right.
accountable that you're
Hmm.
living, I'm sorry, you're living in hell. You're living in
Yeah.
hell, that chaos,
Yeah.
hell of that anger and that
Hmm.
edginess
Hmm.
and that you're
Hmm.
flipping out and all that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then after that, I always like to say, then turn and reach out for help. Once you identify
Yeah.
that, reach out
Yeah.
for help.
Get help.
Yep.
Get help. And there's nothing wrong with it. No one, and I'm saying this, no one's going to judge you. This is not the 70s anymore. You have to hide behind stuff. You don't have to hide behind abuse, alcohol, whatever vice you have to kind of numb the pain. Let's dredge up the pain and let's deal
Yes.
with it. This is what the book does. It's going to hurt. The book is small, but it's a powerful punch. It's going to hurt. It's okay to say I'm hurting. It's okay to say I was raped, I was molested, I was assaulted, and I'm dealing with this in quiet, and I don't know how to deal with it. I'm taking it out on anybody. I'm overworking, overcompensating to make up for the pain and the quiet, battles that in my mind. I need help. I don't know why we live in a society where people don't want to get help, but instead they numb their pain with drugs and alcohol and violence and anger. Don't do that. It's not going to end well. And I am here to tell you that Kim and I are both saying, stop this vicious cycle and get help. Do you know what women are doing all over the world? You're creating a vicious cycle and teaching your kids how to deal with an unhealthy issue with a Band-Aid.
Yep. That's true. That is very true. How can our listeners find you?
Well, I have, I'm a social media celebrity is what I was deemed, and I thank you for the honor. I am on Facebook at Jamila, Jameliah, Young, Young, Mitchell, Mitchell, and it'll be under the blog, I'm quite sure. I do something every morning called the Car Chronicles Movement, where I minister messages of faith and hope in my car, right in my car.
Oh, I love
And
it.
I thank God I have I think 500,000 followers. And every morning we get together. It's a genre of men, women all over the world. We see in China. Don't ask me how we were seen in North Korea, but we are on the military base. We've seen all over the world, and we come together and we heal. I will be in Miami. I believe it's October the 4th. I will be making my rounds. My schedule is there on my Facebook page. I do have a website, www.carchronicles.org, and you can hit follow there. But the bottom line is my lot in life, my ministry, is to really help people understand you're not alone. There is a God that is looking at you saying, you don't have to cry. Car Chronicles has helped people with suicide and depression. I have a great love for women who are dealing with domestic violence. That's my passion. I have a passion for women. I have a passion to help them be better, do better, and see life through a different set of lenses besides their own eyes. And I love what I do. I love it.
I love it. I have goosebumps. I can just so feel it through your voice, Jamila. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes, and I'm so glad you and I had this opportunity. Stay put. Let me close this up. And the SheSpark listeners, ladies,
Thank you.
if you are dealing with some anxiety, a little bit of depression, and you're feeling that angst and that anger, and
right.
You're not alone. Don't think you need to hide behind closed doors. Please reach out.
No.
Reach out to Jamelia. Follow her on social media.
Right.
Go to the website. Anything. If it's not her, please reach out to somebody. Yes. We work better in a tribe. We work better.
We do. And get your blood pressure checked. Women, you are overlooking yourself. You're taking better care of your man and your kids than yourself. Get your pap smears, get your mammograms. Check your heart. Heart disease is a silent killer. With all this anger and stress, we want you around. Get your heart checked. Check the arteries. Do better, girls. Do better.
Yes, absolutely. Do better and get outside and reconnect with nature. Fresh air. Oh,
nature.
My. Fresh air.
Right. Go pumpkin picking.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. That's wonder. Thank you so much, everybody. And please,
thank you,
Kimmy. John. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, everybody. Be well, be blessed, be better. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.